What's up, guys? We're back. So in my last video I was complaining about a lot of my fruit drop. In this video I want to show you some of the fruit that I have, this fruit that's sticking and how they're doing. So we have a good amount of fruit set so far. Let me show you which ones have stuck, how well they're doing, and let me show you the ones that probably lost a lot of their fruit. So I'm going to start right here because I'm just standing right here. This is my Zutano, and as you know, if you look back at some of my old videos, I planted this. It was like 2 feet tall. It was super small. I planted this in between a Hass and a Hass, which is right there. So that Hass used to be a reed, but it's actually a Hass. But let me show you the fruit that's on there right now. This is we got a lot of fruit on here. That's about the size right now. Here's another one. That's about the size. And if you look up, some of them are a little smaller, like that. And then you got fruit like this. That's not gonna make it. So they're all over. I mean, if I'm gonna estimate, it probably has about 100 to 150 fruit. So Zutano's holding well. Now my Hass, which is right next to it, right here, this thing is loaded, just like last year. I think last year it was even more loaded. See, this is the fruit right now. This is about the size. There's some that are bigger than that. So, and they're all over. So there's more there. See that? And this one is a Hass also, and that one's loaded also. So Hass is loaded. This Hass is loaded. Zutano mostly loaded. I mean, we got fruit and they're pretty big already. So we'll be harvesting these pretty soon, hopefully. And then my other Hass, which is right here, this was intentional. This one is loaded too. I mean, I can just pan up. Let me try to zoom in up there. So you see that? That's kind of, so this is going to be loaded, which is exciting. Now, my Maluma with the U that I got this year, it's growing well. It's got new growth coming up at the top. No fruit though, which is okay, because I want this thing to get more established anyways. But I do have a friend who has another tree from the same order that I got, and his is flowered and fruit set well also. So I'm kind of curious about how they're gonna do long term for me and for him. So, and then right here is my Jan Boyce, and the Jan Boyce is loaded. So there's fruit here on the bottom section. If you go up, here's the top section. These are about the size. If you go up even more, I can't reach that. But those are all fruit right there. So that's, we're gonna have fruit. So I guess it's fun to complain sometimes, but really being positive about this whole process is that you gotta take all of your wins and enjoy it. So right now, this Jan Boyce is probably the most loaded I've ever seen it. And I don't know, maybe 200 fruit. I don't expect all of it to stick, but the squirrels love this one, so I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with the squirrels. Now, right next to Jan Boyce, I have Edinger, and Edinger, I'll put a video footage of how much flowers this guy had, and it was insane, the amount of flowers. I think it focused all on flowers and not on fruit set. So it didn't set very many fruit, and the fruit that it set, it all dropped. Now I kind of looked around, there's a couple here and there, like that, that's probably not gonna stick. The only one that I see that is here that might stick is this one. But, you know, that's just one fruit. So I had a couple of fruit from last year, and I mean, the Edinger fruit gets really big, so that's kind of a nice thing to have. But I'm a little disappointed so far with how much fruits that it has and held on. That's the big thing. It's like it sets fruit, but it just didn't hold it. So I think a lot of it might just be possibly just the rootstock that I got this from. So we may need to just give this a couple more years at this point. Now, the Charwell. So I'm gonna do a little video footage of when I put this into the ground. I'm gonna stick it in the video right here. So this guy is 2 years old essentially, and it's probably 12 feet tall and growing really nicely. I actually had another Kona Charwell located right here that was from Laverne Nurseries. Now they got bought out, right? So that guy, I just wasn't confident that it was going to grow well, so I wanted a Charwell. So I took that one out and I put this one, which is from Brokaw, and this was on Duke 7. And look how well this guy is growing right now. So I did look around, I did see some fruit. Considering this has only been 2 years, there's a lot of fruit drop. Like those are all fruit that used to be there. I don't know how many fruit I'm gonna have, but you know, this is the fruit that I have. That's the size of how big they are right now. And you can see they almost have the same type of red specks on there, kind of like on the stem. So, which is interesting. So, and if you guys don't know what I'm talking about with the red specks, let me see if I can zoom in. Kind of hard to zoom in, especially with the wind. And you know, it's gonna get hot today, so I am watering my trees, and I'm doing an extra watering because it's supposed to be in the high 90s probably. So the fruit that's holding on the Surprise, that's about the size of how big they are right now. That's a good size. There's more in there. I looked around and I did find more. There's probably at least 20 or so. We'll see how many actually hold on all the way to the very end where I can actually harvest and try it for the first time. So do I think rootstock makes a difference? I guess the answer is probably yes, because this tree is a Nabal. Look how sad this is. I mean, it's like essentially like a couple feet tall here. And that is a lamb. That lamb was planted at pretty much the same time as this. And that one is doing great. Well, not doing great considering where it's at. It's in the grove of eucalyptus. So that's part of the reason why I think this one's not doing too good. But I also think that the rootstock that was on here was very, very weak. So that's part of it. Same on my gems that I got here. Big eucalyptus right here. But the gem, there's fruit in there. There's probably 6 or 7, maybe up to 10. That gem has 1. They set so much fruit, but only a couple have stuck. Possible that the rootstock, which is, these were all Laverne Nursery trees. So unknown rootstock, probably Zutano. But what I've also known, especially buying trees from Laverne, is the way that they manage the trees. Just not my favorite. Some of you have done well, and a lot of you have killed them. I've killed a bunch of Lavernes. I've killed a lot less of other stuff. So this is the highest mortality rate for me, at least, I would have to say. But, you know, sometimes you do get lucky with them. You just don't know what you're going to get. So now, this guy, Jim Bacon, there's fruit on here, and it's actually holding okay. It's kind of bright. I don't know if you can see that, but that's about the size of the fruit right now. We'll see if they stick and hold on for a long time, and we can actually enjoy some of these. And this is my Nabal. So this one's doing well, and I'm not bummed about my other Nabal because I do have a second, which is this one. But this is the first year it's setting fruit. So I got some fruit there, which is awesome. All right, so now the Anaheim. I know a lot of you guys, well, maybe not a lot, but a bunch of you guys bought the Anaheim as soon as I bought the Anaheim also. And when I planted it, I kind of showcased it a little bit. And some of you guys have been telling me that yours have been taken off. And you know, mine is not doing well. It's still green, it's still alive. But I can tell you that it's probably the weak rootstock that I got, so I just got unlucky. I did try, you know, when I'm picking out trees. Well, there was only one, so I had no choice here. But usually when I'm selecting trees, I always look for the biggest stem that's coming out of the ground that you can see it should have a strong root system behind it. So that's what I look for, but unfortunately got what I got, and who knows what this thing's gonna do. Now this guy is gonna have a tough road ahead of him, and I may need to pull this guy out. But this is another gem that I had. I bought a bunch of gems because they were very productive, and I do like the flavor of the gem. So the top snapped from my gardener who was trimming the tree, but it's just weak. You can see it's just weak. So I may need to dig this out and replace it with something else. I do have another gem that's in a pot still, but maybe something different. So Mexicola has fruit. It has a decent fruit set. This is about the size of the fruit right now. There's more kind of up top here. So I am planning on making this a multi-grafted avocado tree. So I got some scion wood from a friend, and it actually started to take, and then it got really hot, and I removed this and I forgot to put it back on, and just bad timing. So it killed the little baby that was coming out. Now, as far as scions being put on here, this one that I got to take is called Oclando, and this is about the size of, I got some Surround WP. So the Surround WP, I may need to spray just to protect this. And as far as another La Mirada, or I don't know if I'm saying that right, but this one, it started to take and then it died. So it's still green down below. Let's see if I can get it to focus correctly so you can actually see it, but they're still green. I'm still optimistic, holding on. So far just 2 grafts, actually 3 grafts. This graft took, and then I did a boo-boo. This graft is holding on, but not expecting much. That one for sure took. So maybe I'll put a couple more over on that side. So I'm standing on this side of my fence because I don't want to go over, but on that side that's my Pinkerton. That guy is loaded. I counted, and sometimes you count how many fruit, which is kind of silly, but there was at least 20 on that little tree. So Pinkerton, super productive, and the fruit that's on there are pretty big size already too. And then behind that is the Stewart. There's fruit in there. There's probably maybe 15, 20. So the warts, aka little cotto, there's fruit in there, maybe half of a dozen. Kind of sad compared to last year. Last year, it had a lot of fruit. And this right here is not part of the warts. This is actually a sucker. And my plan with that sucker is to graft on another variety that I do like more. It's not that I don't like the warts. It's good, but it's not really the best in my opinion. So, and then the reed that I have here, I have another reed. There's some fruit in there, but this reed has a good amount of fruit that's on here. So these are all reed fruit right here, and you can tell they're more round. So there's a good amount of fruit that's on this reed, but it's kind of weird because a lot of it's on this side, which makes sense because this is the sunny side. And then one of my Gwen, and this Gwen has fruit, so there's fruit on there. So my Carmen, I don't see any new fruit, but we're still harvesting. There might be like 4 or 5 fruit that are ready to be picked that are in there still. So it had a really good fruit set last year, and we're enjoying the fruit, but it decided to skip a year, I think. So who knows? Now, right next to it is a bacon, and man, my bacon is, to me, this bacon's a beast. This tree, it's loaded this year. I mean, that's the size of one of the fruit. I'm sure there's bigger ones in there. Everywhere I look, there's fruit. So all over, and it's been really tough. Also, it handles the cold temperatures really well. It's been handling the heat really well. This guy shouldn't stick around. I just picked that off. So bacon's doing well. And this is the size. Let me see if I can pan up. I got this a couple years ago I mean, it was seriously like just 2 feet tall. I just protected the baby tree when it was young, and when the roots got established, I kept on protecting it, and now look, it's doing well. SC Gold has fruit, and the fruit's holding, which is a good sign. Here's one on the inside here. And this guy, 2 years ago, was a stick about that long that I grafted. So I mean, there's a graft right there. This, you can see the difference in how it's looking right there, like the bark. So I think I got really lucky with the root stock here also. And there's fruit on here already. It's only been in here for 2 years. And look at that. So, and then it's next to the bacon. Bacon's kind of protecting it too. And Esther, there's fruit on the Esther. We got fruit again. This thing's been productive every year. Not as productive this year. I don't know what's going on. I probably left the fruit on there a little longer than I should. There's still fruit that's available for us to enjoy and pick. So one of my lambs that's in the back there is in between a bunch of eucalyptus. I have another lamb. This lamb is from Brokaw and it's on Dusa rootstock. So excited about having this lamb here because this lamb has fruit, and we've got fruit from it last year. So there's more fruit on it this year. So I wasn't too bummed about my other lamb that's down there, and if it doesn't do well, that's okay, because it's just a good variety just in a bad spot. And for some of you guys who got cherimoya, I did. Here's my cherimoya and it's flowering. So I need to come out here and do the pollination. This one, I might be a little late on some of these, but. And then I decided to get a jujube in a little 5-gallon. This is more like a 4-gallon, but there's fruit in here. This guy's probably not gonna make it. Sorry. Well, who knows? But this one's the Lee jujube. So I need to plant this guy because I do like the fruit from the jujube. Okay, I'm in a weird spot. This is my dongalogli, and the dongalogli has fruit. And let me show you that. Oh no. I just touched it and it dropped. You're not supposed to do that. There's more fruit in here somewhere. Okay, so I did find more fruit. There's some in there. Hopefully we get a couple of stick and we get to enjoy a couple. So I'm probably gonna end it here. This is my gem, and there's fruit in there. Not a huge amount, but you know, we do have some gem fruit that we're gonna enjoy, so that's a good thing. So anyways, you guys stay hydrated. It's gonna be a hot one today. Make sure you water your avocados. At least that's what I do when it's hot. Now check your soil. If you're completely waterlogged, you may not need to water, but if your soil looks a little dry, you may want to water. Talk to you guys later. See ya.